From Malone Field in Metamora, Illinois, Friday Night Lights is back on Clutch Sports Media. Tonight we have a Mid-Illini Conference showdown as the Pekin Dragons come to town to take on the Metamora Redbirds on homecoming. Alongside my analyst Michael Goff, it's Gavin Russell reporting. Michael, a lot of anticipation surrounding this matchup. It should be a fun one tonight.
Absolutely, Gavin. You have it exactly right. Big atmosphere on hand tonight with it being homecoming for Metamora. Both Metamora and Pekin coming off wins from last week, and as postseason action gets closer, both teams hungry and ready to take another one here this week as we get closer and closer into crunch time here for the regular season.
Really is. We're in the back half of the schedule now, so really coming down to the wire. We want to tell you tonight's game is brought to you by FS Tech. FS Tech has been very nice to be a sponsor for us tonight. At Field Service Technologies, they ensure seamless execution of on-site services such as maintenance, safety integration, in-plant machinery moves and relocations, repairs, installations, and inspections. Visit fieldservicetechnologies.com. Appreciate having them on board tonight, but we're ready for kickoff. We'll get into breaking this one down as we go throughout this first quarter. Lots to look at, though. Michael, maybe what's something off the top? What's one thing you're looking for each team?
I'm going to be looking for right now, Metamora needs to continue their strong pace on the season, a strong 4-1 start, and the good times have been rolling for them. I think tonight seeing them go out there in front of their home crowd on homecoming should be a big momentum boost for Metamora. I'm going to look to see how they feed off of that energy. And for Pekin, coming off a strong win against Morton last week, I think Pekin, again, a team with a lot to play for, especially as we get into the crunch time. Execution going to be the big key for both, but especially on Pekin's end.
Good points, Michael. Execution is key, as it'll be the Redbirds to kick off. They're wearing their alternate black uniforms on homecoming. Black jerseys, black pants, black helmets, and that signature Redbird on the side. Pekin in the traveling whites with red pants, white helmets, and that familiar Pekin P on the side. We are ready for kickoff. Redbirds and Dragons ready to go at it, and the kick is away. Sends it deep to the end zone, and it'll be a touchback as the Dragons come out with the ball first. Big thing for them, as we saw last week, Michael, we were both on the call for Pekin and Morton. Lots of penalties. I'm sure that's something they want to cut down on.
Yes, absolutely, Gavin. I mean, it was almost every other play at points in the game. There was a flag thrown out of some sort, and it cost the Dragons quite a bit of yardage in that game total. So definitely minimizing those is going to be key for them tonight.
Certainly will be. Big offensive line for the Dragons. Lots of seniors. 4 seniors on the starting offensive line for Pekin. Going up a little bit younger squad on the other side. First play, it's going to be a pitch, and it's going to be dropped. We'll see if they call it incomplete. It will be. Wasn't sure there for a moment if it was a backwards pass. Incomplete on the first play from scrimmage. Second and 10 from the 20-yard line. Benassi in the backfield. Senior QB. He's going to give it on a jet sweep. Bouncing outside. Gets some room to run and finally knocked out hard. Bobby Martin with a big gainer, but takes a big hit right into the Metamora sideline.
Yeah, and that is a big play there for Bobby Martin. Wanted to see that early from Pekin apply that pressure. That is how they got their win against Morton last week. Really applying that pressure, getting down there, getting that yardage. Nice play.
So a big first down there, just short of the 40-yard line. Promising start for Pekin. Benassi all alone in the shotgun again. Man in motion. He's going to hand it off once again. There's a flag. Looks like this one will be coming back. Picks up some yardage. That's Chase Kruger on the carry. But I believe that's going to be the game's first penalty, and I think it'll go on Pekin. It will go backwards against the Dragons, and again, you just can't have that. I mean, even if you give up a little bit on a play, those can really be drive killers, Michael.
Yeah, they certainly can. We have seen it time and time again throughout watching football. They certainly can be not what you wanted to do starting off, but a lot of game left is a good thing.
They'll go back to Kruger on the jet sweep. Throws a stiff arm up. He'll gain a couple yards, but not much. Brought down on the far side of the field. It looked like that was Kylan McMillan, the Macomb transfer. He's been one of their best tacklers on the year. He had 24 total tackles coming into tonight's game.
Yeah, he did, and 24 tackles, a strong number out there, right among the tops there in the team. So off to good start on defense.
He'll throw. Goes over far side. 2 Redbirds right there to blow it up. Unsurprisingly, you had Jason Pickles, who was one of the starting corners in there, alongside Remy Limkin. Michael, what do you go to? Third and about 11 or so. It's a big down. Redbirds have been stepping on D. What do you go to?
Yeah, I think right now, again, just put your best foot forward. I'd give it a shot here.
Fumbled snap. Benassi has to break out, and it's brought down. The Redbirds will create a stop. Big play right there as Grady Neal gets in to stuff it for the Redbirds.
And we talked about execution being a big word for both teams in this one here, a big key, and I think we saw right there capitalizing on that mistake.
So it'll be the first special teams punt of the game. It's away. It's bouncing, takes a Pekin bounce, and they'll about flip the field. So it'll be favorable field position to start for the Redbirds. Michael, when you look at the Redbirds, they're a very dynamic team. Lots of different players we can look at, but what do you think the key for the Metamora offensive success is going to be tonight?
I really think it's just going to come down to really running that ball. You want to string together some long drives in there, get that big play that you can really break through on this Pekin defense, who has been sharp, but Metamora, again, one of the top offenses. So again, kind of a clash with the Titans scenario right here.
That is for sure. Averaging 35 points a game is the Metamora offense. The Pekin defense has been a little more stingy than that. They're allowing 21 a game. Right up the middle, the Redbirds go on the first carry of the game. Keon Allen is the ball carrier. One thing we're looking out for is Jadon Cranford playing tonight. He's been a little banged up, nothing serious. The star Northern Illinois commit may or may not be in there, which would be a huge blow to the Redbirds.
Yeah, it really would be. I mean, he's got 10 touchdowns on it this season, has rushed 609 yards. I mean, those are some seriously impressive numbers.
Looks like it'll be Keon Allen taking a lot of the snaps in the backfield to start with. It's a keeper and goes right up the middle. That's Stephen Petrie. Looks like he'll be right at the sticks for a Redbird first down. Get a good look right there at Stephen Petrie. Big senior quarterback. He's had a pretty good year so far. He gets it done both in the air and with his legs. That's pretty much the common trend among quarterbacks in today's day and age.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he can do just about a little bit of everything. Get you a touchdown, get you a tackle. Just a terrific player on both offense and defense.
Up the middle, grinding away some yards is Allen. And he'll get it right about to midfield. So it looks like so far no Jadon Cranford. It does appear he is on the sidelines from what I can see. Not in full uniform, just wearing his jersey. So take that as he's probably out for tonight's game.
Yeah, I would take it like that as well. So be a little bit of a different look for Metamora, but again, they're capable of still putting up some big numbers.
Here's a throw to the outside. A little dump pass to the running back is blown all the way up. Pekin sets that one back. Tegan McCoy in on the TFL. Third and 10. Kind of a long scenario. What do you go with, Michael?
Think right here, again, just put your best foot forward, get that drive out, get that momentum on your side. You want to be the first one to break through here, as got about 6:50 left in quarter one.
Looking for a big play as it's blown dead. And a timeout taken by Metamora. They'll get a chance to talk it over. Not a bad thing in the first quarter to take a look at what we got. And we'll take a look at some player spotlights. Didn't have much of a pregame show, Michael, so we'll kind of start breaking this one down as we go. A couple of big players on both sides. Of course, Cranford is one we were looking at, so might have to change gears, but he's a special player. Even though he's not playing tonight, expect a lot more from him later this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a guy that, you know, if he's down for one game, even that right there. But again, a terrific player.
And then you see Brogan Benassi there for a moment as he's back up there. Last week, he had 60 pass yards, pretty good completion rate, but he really got it done with his legs. Benassi rushed for 131 yards and a couple of touchdown scampers. Big week for him. Here's the third down play off the timeout. Going up the middle is Allen, and he'll have enough for the first down. Big play off the timeout.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal job there. That is exactly what you want to do coming out of that timeout. And again, set that tone early. It's always important to do that. And you see here as Metamora itching strike first.
And something of note, with Cranford already out, Keon Allen grasping his right hand. Going to get checked out on the sideline. So now third string level. We'll see what Metamora's depth is made of. Drop back to pass. Petrie, he'll go out wide, just a little bit too far. He had his guy in the area. That was Kylan McMillan, just a little bit overthrown.
Yeah, just again, a great effort on the throw. It looked like a very strong throw, but again, just a little bit of an overshoot. But give Metamora credit where it's due. They're pushing the envelope early. You got to think that means they're feeling pretty good about where they are offensively.
They're not going to be afraid to take some chances. Again, big-time injury news for the Redbirds. You're down your best running back, and your second running back's getting checked out on the sideline. 2nd and 10. Petrie takes it. He's going to throw again, wide open over the middle. It's a nice catch. Kylan McMillan connects this time with Stephen Petrie for a first down.
Excellent job there. If it doesn't work the first time, give it a shot the second time. Just an excellent throw. A couple real nice throws. Just terrific job by Metamora all around.
They're moving the ball with some consistency as they're just outside of the red zone. .24-yard line. It's going to be a keeper by Petrie. He'll break out to the edge, and he'll be brought down after a nice gain. Plenty for a first down into the red zone, and the Redbirds are moving.
Yeah, they certainly are. They are coming out of the gates here strong on this drive, picking up distance each time. And crowd here getting excited as could see a score here coming up.
They'd love to strike first, especially after the early stop. And again, doing it shorthanded. Running back and fullback in the backfield. Fullback is Eli Edwards. They're going to hand it up the middle. Still on his feet. Thrown down. And it's going to be a new ball carrier for Metamora. Ashelman. Mark Ashelman is a 5'11", 175 sophomore. So the sophomore getting thrown into some big action. He's a defensive starter. He's now asked to play both ways. This is a big moment for a young guy.
Yeah, it is. And, he's got one touchdown already this season, so a guy that has shown he can do it here. But, yeah, big moment for a young guy for sure.
Could be taking a bulk of the carries. He gets it again, goes right up the gut. Oh, it's a fake. It's going to be Petrie on the keeper. Had all of us fooled, even here in the booth. Touchdown, Metamora.
That is excellent game planning, excellent play calling there on Metamora. I mean, you take a look at it, just a faker and then just a quick little leisurely jog right through that defense. I mean, made that look easy.
The Pekin defense is not alone. Had me totally looking the other direction as Petrie untouched in for 6. Big start here for the Redbirds. It looks like they'll go for 2. Not going to waste any time. Heavy set, 2 men in motion. It'll be Petrie trying to keep it again, going in. He'll get 2 more. Big 8-0 start for the Redbirds. They've come to play.
Yeah, and give Stephen Petrie credit where it is due, too. Just terrific. No fear at all. Just an excellent dive there into the end zone. Converts it for 2. 8-0. Metamora lead. I don't think you could ask for a much better start than this.
No, you got the home fans on your side on homecoming. Obviously, always a big week at the high school level. Even the college level, I too. Give us some credit there. And there's really not an empty seat here, Michael. Both sides coming out supporting their team. You expected that to happen, but just an excellent crowd. The parking lot was mostly full when I got here prior to the start of the JV game.
Yeah, just a terrific crowd on hand, and it's great to see that. You always love coming to these football games, covering with a huge crowd here. I mean, it's just phenomenal atmosphere. You can't ask for much better than what you have here tonight, and there's very few things that can even replicate what having a crowd like this is like.
That is for sure, Michael. So Pekin will try and get into the scoring column themselves. Able to crank out a few yards on their first drive, then stalled out on a couple of miscues. A botch snap on a 3rd down play set them way back, as well as a penalty. Kind of shot themselves in the foot. But we'll see what the dynamic duo, Brogan Benassi, Ty Jackson, quarterback, running back, respectively, what they will do.
Yeah, they put on a show last week, and they are capable of doing some incredible things out there.
Graham Bittner boots it away. It'll be fielded on a bit of a jump, heading right up the middle and being brought down around the 25. So got a few extra compared to a touchback. As that'll be Bobby Martin once again handling the ball. He's going to be asked to do a lot because speaking of injuries, Pekin is down Dylan Anderson, the star junior. He went down earlier this season with a season-ending injury. So now you're, again, both sides relying on a lot of backup guys.
Yeah, it is, and it's a good opportunity for them to showcase their skill set. But, you know, as a whole, it's probably not what you envisioned coming into the season. But, again, if these guys step up, prove themselves, they're going to earn that playing time, and then all of a sudden your depth just grows, and especially the trust in your team overall.
Very good points, Michael. We'll see if Benassi has something he can trust here on 1st down. They're going to give it to a jet sweep. Blocking to the outside, going nowhere. Redbirds swallowed it up once again, a big loss. And going backwards once again. What do you change, Michael? They've tried a lot of those jet sweeps. Maybe try something different or stick with it?
Yeah, you know, I got to think here. Maybe one more shot and then you try something different. But, I mean, it's tough when you got defense playing as strongly as they are.
A few yards up the middle. Not much, but a positive play for Pekin, but it'll bring up a 3rd and long. 3rd and about 11 once again. Jackson Traylor got the carry. In lieu of Ty Jackson, who we've yet to see of either. So shocking, a lot of players might be being banged up. Long season. Pitch play. Nice cut, but not going to be quite enough for the 1st down, as Chase Kruger not able to come up with the 1st down, and another punt for the Dragons.
Yeah, for Pekin there, you probably would like a little more yardage here, but again, you go with the punt, play that strong defense, keep yourselves right into it.
So Dragons back out on special teams to punt it away and a timeout. And Metamora runs up for the timeout. Nick Dolinsky is pretty hot over on that sideline closest to us. Something he didn't quite like. And talk about the details. They really love those. Speaking of coaches, we'll take a look at our coach bios for tonight's game. Kind of a experience versus a little bit of an inexperience at the head coaching position. You got to look first at the experience. Doug Nutter, long tenure at Pekin High School, 84 and 70 and 17 seasons. He's just a phenomenal coach, very veteran. He knows it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't have that kind of success without not only a great knowledge of the game of football, but also a great connection with your players throughout the years, and certainly has been a coach Pekin has loved having a part of their high school football program. And again, those results speak for themselves.
Doug Nutter, great head coach. And of course on the other side is Nick Dolinsky. He's just in his first season. Nick Dolinsky, so far so good in his first year as Metamora head coach, longtime offensive coordinator and a Metamora grad. Very short punt, and it's going to take a Metamora hop. And they don't even flip the field, so prime position for the Redbirds.
Yeah, that punt was almost like a pop-up in baseball there. It went up pretty high, but didn't go very far.
So they'll get it right at the 39-yard line. So very, very short field to go. As once again, they're going to be looking to Mark Ashelman to take some carries out of the backfield. No Jadon Cranford. Keon Allen went down early with a hand injury. Here is a bubble pass. It's going to be a double pass. Goes back to Petrie. He gets it. He's running down the sideline. He is going to score. What a play. Double pass, Stephen Petrie in for 6.
Good times keep rolling. I think this is more like Stephen Petrie 14, Pekin nothing. I mean, he is on a roll here to start things. And again, just incredible football IQ, knowing how to evade the Pekin defense. Do it all yourself.
Absolutely incredible play. And I believe if my eyes served me correctly, it was Jason Pickles, the wide receiver, who's going to come up with the throwing touchdown credit as he threw it way across the field. Petrie able to lunge out for it, and they will go for 2 once again. They are putting the pressure on.
Yeah, they're looking to put this one away early.
Here is Petrie back on the keeper. Is he in? He is in. 2 more. 16 points for Stephen Petrie, and the Redbirds lead by 16.
Incredible job once again converting for 2. You take a look at it again, the Dragons swarming Petrie, but just gets in there. And a 16 spot in quarter number 1.
And this is a spot for the Dragons where you got the right coach probably if you're going to be able to make a stand. Doug Nutter, he has seen it all. He's seen the adversity, the highs and the lows. How does that impact the team when you got a coach that has been around for so long?
You know, I think what Doug Nutter can do, and again, like you talked about, he's been around so long, he's probably seen just about every scenario in the book. He's going to be able to know exactly what to tell his guys out there in terms of staying focused, staying on top of your play, and knowing that, you know, 16-0 doesn't mean this game is over. It might feel like you're down a lot, but again, you string together a couple nice drives, you're right back in, and I think that's what Doug Nutter is going to be telling his guys.
We still have over 3 quarters yet to play, so things can change in a hurry. As Pekin finished last week's game in a big way, but again, it looks like they might also be down one of their top guys, Ty Jackson. Haven't seen him at all tonight. So potentially he is also banged up with an injury. We saw him throughout last week's game, so don't want to speculate too far, but you get to that point in the season, week 6 really takes a toll on your body. Hopefully everybody can get healthy and ready for the playoffs if they're able to make it there. It's Martin again fielding the kick. He gets a block and he'll stumble forward just short of the 30-yard line. And this feels like a drive, not the same must score, but you definitely got to put something positive together.
Yeah, you do. You want to come out of this first quarter with a little bit of momentum after an early 16-0 hole that Pekin is in. And again, a lot of game left in here, but I think you want to carry some momentum on your side going into the second quarter here, and this is Pekin's chance to do it.
It'll be a handoff right up the middle. And there's some positive yardage. It looks like that's back to Chase Kruger. Rather, that was Jackson Traylor. Looks like he'll be splitting some carries in the backfield to go right up the middle once again. And he'll be just shy of the first down. Pile moving. Probably about mere inches. Jackson Traylor is away from a first down. Really looking to see what these big guys on the offensive line can do. Might be to Pekin's advantage. They're going up against a junior, a sophomore, and a senior on the starting D-line, so a little more inexperience. It'll be a keeper to Benassi, wrapped up, and he is not going to make it. So now decision time. What do you do, Michael? 4th and short. You need a spark. Do you go for it?
I think you do go for it. I feel like with time running out here, quarter one, you gotta go for it, and whatever happens, knowing this quarter's very close to wrapping up here.
4th and 1. They're gonna go for it. Calls an audible at the line. Benassi takes the snap, hands it back up the middle. I don't know if they got it. He falls forward though, and I think they'll have enough for a first down. Second effort from Jackson Traylor will move the sticks for Pekin.
And a big first down there for Pekin. They needed that.
As the clock will expire on the first quarter, a lot of action. I'm assuming they're not going to run another play. They will run another play. Trying to catch him off guard. Maybe they do a little bit, and some big yardage. Breaks out of a tackle. He's down to the 30. Makes a move. Cuts back in. It's Kruger. Kruger will get pushed out of bounds into the first quarter, and a huge momentum shift for the Dragons.
That is exactly what Pekin needed. Ending off the quarter there. Just a terrific job, terrific run overall. Kind of catching Metamora off guard here. Maybe thinking Pekin was going to let the clock run out, and instead they go for it. Excellent job there on the Pekin offense. Chase Kruger.
And appropriately there's Stephen Petrie getting done again. He has done just about everything, both offensively and now even defensively in that first quarter. But a big momentum pushing play there for Pekin, as we'll talk to you about tonight's sponsor. Appreciate having on board. It's Field Service Technologies. At Field Service Technologies, they ensure seamless execution of on-site services such as maintenance, safety integration, in-plant machinery moves and relocations, repairs, installations, and inspections. To learn more, visit fieldservicetechnologies.com. And also brought to you by CSM Overtime. CSM Overtime is home to all the written coverage of Clutch Sports Media. You can subscribe at clutchsportsil.com. You also got a QR code right there on your screen. Lots of great feature stories, nightly roundups, army of writers. Lots of different people helping make this possible. So check it out for yourself today. Lots of playoffs coming up in fall sports, volleyball, soccer, golf. So cover just about everybody. Follow your favorite school today on CSM Overtime. Quarter number 2 ready to start, and feels a little better for the team in white. A massive run from Chase Kruger to end out the quarter as they find themselves their first red zone appearance. It'll be a keeper by Benassi, and he'll get a few positive yards. You're essentially getting a touchdown. You can get to the 1 for a first down, but I think the Dragons would just like to punch it in for 6.
Yes, I agree with you, and they certainly want to chip in.
There's Kruger again. He lunges forward. Touchdown, Dragons. Chase Kruger all over that last drive for Pekin. And he's stepping up in what appears to be the absence of Ty Jackson, as Pekin says, not so fast.
Yeah, nice response there to Metamora, who came out swinging here, and Pekin starting off the second quarter just about as well as you possibly could ask for.
The kick is up, and it is good. 16-7, so still a nice lead for the home side, Metamora. But you certainly don't hate that drive if you're Pekin. Lots of ball game left to be played. Get a look at the Pekin sideline there. Benassi. He's a senior, offered by McKendree, Division III school earlier this year. He's also visited Indianapolis University and Monmouth College, so some smaller schools, local programs, but both, and all three of those rather, very well-respected schools at their levels. I think playing at the next level, no matter if you're playing Division I, Division III, JUCO, it means you're a special player to be able to get to play college football.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you don't get an offer if you don't have the skills and the tool set for it. So for Brogan Benassi to get those offers speaks a lot to the kind of player he is out there on the field. And again, we've seen it this season. He is a special player and capable of doing some great things out there.
Lots of college level athletes on both sides. Some for football, some not for football. Some will be heading out for baseball. Just like Stephen Petrie. He's committed to playing college, but he'll be on the diamond. He'll be playing at Carl Sandburg. He's a terrific baseball player as well, although he does love his time on the gridiron. Gotta love seeing the multi-sport athletes. They just seem to have a different gear. Playing those different sports, different skill sets, I think it makes just a player overall better.
Yeah, it does, and football and baseball, two very tough sports to excel, and that speaks to the kind of athlete he is.
So now Pekin will boot it away as they'll try and stifle this red-hot Redbird offense. You go back to last week, the Redbirds put up a big number at Canton, 61 points. The week before that, they scored 43 at Morton, so over 100 combined points in the last 2 weeks. They're just on a different level.
Yeah, red-hot offense out there for sure. And, again, you don't do that by chance. I mean, there's some serious talent on this Redbirds roster. And, again, over 100 points in 2 games, that's special right there.
And those last 2 big offensive efforts in weeks 4 and 5 come on the heels of a week 3 shutout. Metamora was shut out by Washington, so they definitely responded in the biggest way they possibly could have. They'll start off, ball carrier coming out of the backfield, but Pekin putting on a little defensive pressure. A whole group of Dragons coming in to make the stop. Looks like it was Peyton Bridgman. He has a couple of sacks and tackles for loss this season. He had a sack and a TFL last week in the win against Morton. And he picks up one right there. Second and long. Petrie, he's going to keep it himself once again, but nowhere to go. Pekin read it all the way that time, and it's really the first 3rd and long scenario we've seen. Maybe some adjustments by Doug Nutter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that first quarter was the Stephen Petrie show. You have to think that Doug Nutter told him, hey, watch out for this guy. And like you said, Pekin's defense read that last play perfectly, and seen a little bit of that response now.
Big 3rd down play. Pekin wants to ratchet up their momentum some more. Metamora would like to silence that and move the sticks. Man in motion. It's going to be a handoff to the fullback. He'll lumber forward for some yards, but not going to be enough for a first down. He'll be about 4 yards short. Travion House comes in for the stop. As it was Eli Edwards taking a fullback handoff in the first punt of the game for the Metamora Redbirds. Big stop for Pekin.
Yeah, it is, and Pekin needs to and would like to certainly keep that up. Defense looking much sharper here.
Bittner kicks it away. He will flip the field. It's going to bounce. Checks up just past the 50-yard line, so that's all right field position if you're the Pekin Dragons. Michael, what do you go to? You had a lot of success, of course, aided by that big run by Chase Kruger. How do you make sure this offense stays sustainable?
I really think, again, you just got to get the ball, pass it around, and look for those openings. That's what Chase Kruger did. He looked for an opening. He found one and was able to just go off to the races once doing that. So I got to think, it shows that there is a hole in the Metamora defense. It's just about finding it if you're the Dragons and then capitalizing on it.
We'll see if they can do that. Metamora's defense is strong, though. Handoff, it's going to be Trailer, and there's some muscle being flexed. Lots of Redbirds in on the stop. Looked like Saul Swanson was in there. Caleb Morrison going to be credited with the tackle. And Saul Swanson and Caleb Morrison, probably the two defensive leaders for them, racking up the stats. They've just been everywhere.
Yeah, they certainly have. I mean, you take a look at Swanson, 19 tackles, and just, again, part of that great defensive cog.
Stays up his Trailer as he'll get forward progress for a couple of yards gained. 3rd and moderate. Able to stay up after a couple of big hits. So not skipping a beat without Ty Jackson. Unsure on his absence. Have not seen him suited up tonight. But neither is Jadon Cranford. So both star running backs out for tonight's game. Kind of evens the playing field a little bit. Up the middle, there's a big run. And that's going to be plenty for a first down. Jaden Daw, first carry of the night. Really going into the bench now as Pekin plays some tempo. Daw back up the middle. And he'll fall forward for a few more yards. Chase Kruger re-enters the game for Pekin. Benassi, he's going to hand it off again. Kruger fights forward. And to me, Michael, it seems like that Pekin offensive line's just getting a better push up front. There's just more room to run now for these Pekin running backs.
Yeah, there is, and, part of that, too, kind of settling into things here. They certainly have done that. And, yeah, you're right, applying a lot more pressure.
Benassi goes up the middle, and I think he'll have enough for a first down. Met quickly at the line. Looks like that was Caleb Morrison again, getting his nose in there on the stop. And a first down for the Redbirds. Pekin varying their speeds, going a little tempo, now slowing it down a little bit. Benassi, he's going to toss it this time. Tosses towards the end zone, just out of the reach of his receiver. Luckily, I had Peyton Bridgman trying to make that reception, just to overthrew him a little bit. Benassi can throw, doesn't throw a lot. They're a very run-focused team, but I wouldn't leave him too open with his receivers. He can definitely hit them.
No, absolutely. A very, very strong arm out there and capable of hitting those spots out there for sure. I certainly would not ease up the gas on Benassi at all.
Second down. About halfway through this second quarter. Homecoming at Metamora. It's going to be another option play as Benassi ran into his own offensive lineman. Austin Spody was a bit of a roadblock for Benassi, so he limits his gain to about 5. And third and medium. It's a big third down, Michael.
Yeah, it is, and Pekin still has that opportunity here to cash in, but kind of a now or never moment here on this drive.
Up the middle, and gonna be just enough for a first down. So Pekin once again moves the sticks.
Big there for Pekin getting that first down. Keeps this drive alive.
Jaden Daw, once again the ball carrier. So we've seen 3 different guys in the backfield for Pekin. Here's Daw, met, but he stays on his feet. What a play right there. I don't know how you don't fold like a paper sack, but he stays up and makes it a positive gain.
Yeah, beautiful job there. Just great athleticism. A little bit of a roll and right back on your feet. Excellent job all the way around there by Daw.
Second and 5. Hands it off. Nowhere to go that time. It'll be another third down. Once again, a group of Redbirds in on the stop. Saul Swanson and Caleb Morrison. We've been calling their name a lot. Third and about 4. Just in front of that Metamora student section, going with a neon theme tonight. Looks like both student sections going with neon. Here's the handoff. It's a keeper. Benassi. He's going to be just by the sticks. It's going to be very close. 4 down territory, Michael, or do you try to kick a field goal?
Well, you know, it's a tough call here, honestly. I think right here you got to go 4th down, just try and get through that end zone, though.
And you hear those Malone bleachers rumble, and it's going to be a offsides encroachment. What a lapse there by the Metamora defense. We haven't seen many flags. That's something we talked about very highly before the game. That is a very costly flag right there. It's a first down for Pekin.
And for Pekin, a little bit of things going their way there. And inching ever so closer to.
And once again, is he in? He is! Chase Kruger. Now it's his show. Early on, it was Stephen Peachy, Chase Kruger, second score of the game.
And a great job by the Dragons here. You take a look at Kruger, kind of taking a page right out of Petrie's book, just shoving your way through, getting right on in the end zone there. Nice flex. And Pekin right back in it.
Kick is up. It is no good. However, it pulls them within 3. They would have still been trailing even with the successful PAT. Just like we talked about, Michael, we knew this one wasn't over. If you're just joining us a little bit late, Metamora started with a 16-0 lead in the first quarter. Now it's been all Dragons. 13 straight. Lots of Chase Kruger. Brogan Benassi has tonight's plays as well. Now we're just kind of flip-flopping, throwing haymakers. What's Metamora do to get out of this rut?
Well, right now, if you're Metamora, you want to try and, again, do what Pekin did, formulate a strong response to 2 really great drives, 2 really good scores. And again, I think both teams now circling the guy that has been their kryptonite in this one here. And both sides putting each other on alert. Like, hey, we can respond when you put together something. It's gonna be a fun one here tonight already. You can just feel it out there, and we've been treated to a phenomenal first half.
It's not even over yet, Michael. We still got 4 minutes. You just never know what can happen. We've already seen a double pass that went for a touchdown. We saw a huge run by Chase Kruger of Pekin. And this kickoff will be fielded, bobbled. Gonna get a late start on things. Trying to break out to the near side. Cuts up, and it'll end up being a decent return. As Braden Cox able to corral it and get up just short of the 30-yard line. As Stephen Petrie and the Metamora offense will trot back out. And going back to these offensive lines and defensive lines, talking about how experienced the 4 seniors on Pekin's side. But as for Metamora, they're starting 3 sophomores. Very, very young, which is promising for the future, maybe just a bit inexperienced right now.
Yeah, and again, a great opportunity for these young guys, having an opportunity here in a big game.
Here's a throw over the middle. It's wide open. McMillan. He'll be brought down. The ball comes out. They're going to blow it dead. Pekin thought they had the ball, but it looked like the ground caused the fumble, which ensure he is down. But what a catch there by McMillan. And there's the momentum Metamora needed.
Yeah, and just right there, a beautiful pass all the way around. You can see McMillan tracking it the whole way, taking it down, and just a terrific job there by the Redbirds, swinging that momentum back on their side.
So we'll stick with Metamora, no fumble. Here's a keeper, and flags fly after the snap. We'll have to see what the call is here. Lots of bodies moving in the trenches. Waiting for the official word. Metamora looks like they're not moving forward. It's going to be a false start. So back them up 5 yards, replay first. Of note, Keon Allen does look like he has returned to the game. So he's typically the number 2 to Jadon Cranford. He went out early with a hand injury. They may do without him, but you certainly want to have as many guys as possible. You've been practicing all offseason. Love to have him back there in the lineup.
Yeah, you certainly do. A guy that they're certainly depending on now, given their circumstances, and getting him back in the game here going to be a huge boost for Metamora.
Throws again. Petrie over the middle. What an interception. Oh, he dropped it. Almost an outstanding interception. Thought he one-handed it. Couldn't hold on at the end as we look at the replay. Yeah. What a defensive effort.
So close to the play of the game there, most certainly.
None other than Chase Kruger. He has been Superman today for the Dragons. So Metamora still alive on this drive. 2nd and 15. He's going to roll out with it again. Feels some pressure. Gets rid of it. Down the field. It's a catch. Once again, another huge gainer in the air. Stephen Petrie showing off that arm. And what a haul. McMillan gets another huge catch.
Yeah, that is a big-time play there, a long throw. McMillan making the grab. Absolutely terrific here. And just like what Pekin did with Metamora, Metamora now responding after Pekin's good scoring stretch.
So back and forth we go on the seesaw. Allen, but it's going to be a botched play and should set them back. False start. So I'll put them back to about the 9-yard line. Couple penalties on this drive, probably something they want to negate. But overall, lots of great offensive plays in this series from the Redbirds. Petrie gets the call. Couple of receivers out. Gets another heavy set. It's going to be a keeper. Petrie goes up the middle. And he'll get about 5 or 6, so hard to stop him. Just gets a big wall in front of him, and quarterback keeper seems to work a lot.
Yeah, it does, but a nice gain there as we're at that. First and goal here, and Redbirds, after a 16-0 lead, now down to 16-13. Got to think adding some comfort in and out this second quarter, in and out this first half on their minds right now.
Certainly is. They're trying to waste some time. 1 minute to play in the first half. Here's Petrie on the keeper once again, spins his way, and he is in. Stephen Petrie, by an eyelash, reaches across, and 6 more for the Birds.
Huge touchdown there, and again, Petrie doing what he's been doing all night, just squeaking through, getting right inside.
It'll be the first point after attempt tonight for Metamora. They were 2 for 2 on 2-point conversions. This is to go up 10 points. Kick is up, and it is good. 10-point lead for Metamora, as Pekin will have an opportunity with 52 seconds to go in the first half. Maybe try to take a shot, or do you just lick your wounds and go to halftime?
Yeah, a tough call, and with how strong Metamora has been defensively, I think, running out the clock here might be on their minds, but at the same time, Pekin put together a nice scoring stretch earlier in this quarter here too, so they're capable of doing the scoring. So it's going to be a tough call. I'm curious to see how the Dragons answer back here. I wouldn't be shocked to see them go for it, but I also wouldn't be shocked either if they just kind of let this one run out either.
Guess Doug Nutter's probably been here before, so probably has something on his mind. They do have 3 timeouts, worth noting. So 3 timeouts with 52 seconds left can mean a lot. They love a good return as well. It'll be Kruger back, as well as Bobby Martin. 2 men deep for Pekin. And Bittner to kick off once again. The kick is away. It's going to be a squibber. Got to field it on a hop. Martin makes a move. Able to get some sizable ground. And just short of the 40-yard line, so 46 seconds left, right about the 40-yard line. Maybe you try to take a shot.
Yeah, I think now you definitely take a shot. Certainly have time here to string together something. Shaping up to be very, very exciting last 46 seconds.
It's going to be 5 receivers. Trips on the near side. Benassi, he's going to just keep it himself, trying to play a little trickery. Goes nowhere. We'll see if they elect to take the timeout. It looks like they will not try to, so I think they're going to just hope for maybe a hole, a broken play, but I don't think that they're going to try and extend this half any longer. .20 seconds now. Now Benassi will pass. He'll make a move, has to keep it himself once again. Hit hard after a short gain. And I believe they're just going to let this clock run out.
Yeah, letting that clock run out. Well, a very thrilling first half to this game here, and I think we've got a great second half and a great finish on the horizon here.
That's where we'll leave the first half of football action, 23-13. It was all Metamora early. Big response by the Dragons. Metamora able to pull off a late score to extend their lead to 10 points. Some quick thoughts from the first half, Michael.
Gavin, again, a kind of a story of two guys on each team. Stephen Petrie was absolutely phenomenal, accounting for all of Metamora's scoring, and Chase Kruger on the Dragons' end was doing a great job there, running down the gridiron, taking in some great throws, and again, a terrific job there. Both sides had some great play in this first half here. Metamora just able to capitalize just a little bit more, but I thought overall a strong effort on both sides, and I think the second half is going to be nothing short of a thriller.
We'll see what adjustments the coaches have to make as the marching Redbirds will come out. But at the start of halftime, we would like to take a moment to recognize the former WMBD Vice President and General Manager Sean Newell, who passed away earlier this week. He was certainly a very loved and valued member of the Peoria area, as well as at the WMBD TV station. He was a participant in many local programs, Center of Prevention of Abuse. He did some play-by-play for Dunlap football on WMBD. He will be greatly missed and was a big reason Clutch Sports Media able to bring more football action to you in the last couple of seasons. So our condolences go out to Sean, his family, and all who loved him and worked with him in his time at WMBD. We'll have a moment of silence and send it to break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Metamora and Malone Field, halftime of Pekin and Metamora. Redbirds lead 23-13. But here at halftime, we're joined by our halftime guest, Justin Dame, the head coach of Metamora boys basketball. Justin, thanks for taking a few minutes.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Certainly not usual time of year to talk to you. I know we're more focused on you guys in the winter time, come November, December, but you guys are working all year long. How are things looking for the Metamora basketball program?
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like we're getting close to basketball season with the weather we're having right now, but I'm sure it'll be here before you know it. We got a lot going on right now, just kind of open gyms and weightlifting. We're pretty blessed to have a 8th-hour athletic PE class, so our basketball guys can all get a workout in during the school day. We get 2 days a week in the gym. 3 days a week we'll be in the weight room, and we got a lot of guys right now that are really dedicated and committed. They put in a lot of time, so they'll stay till 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. Some of them will go home and eat, come back at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, get a workout in. So it's a really special time for us right now. We got a lot of young guys. I think we only had 5 guys with a driver's license this summer, but a lot of those sophomores have started acquiring their license this fall. So a lot of good things coming for these guys right now.
Sure, and you're early in your head coaching tenure, obviously taking over for longtime head coach Danny Greaves. How do you navigate that? A lot of new guys coming into this season. You're still relatively newer to the coaching thing, kind of building this, making it your own. What does that take from your perspective?
It's a different situation than a lot of people. I didn't have to rebuild a program. I just had to make sure we didn't run it into the ground and ruin the great things that Coach Greaves has built when he came here back in 2012. So that's what we're trying to do, put a little bit of our own personal spin on it and not try to be somebody you're not try to be Coach Greaves and just be myself. But we're really excited right now. I think we got as much, if not more, young talent than we've ever had. I think in about 2 or 3 years we're going to be probably the best team that we've ever had here in terms of depth of talent.
That's really special to say, considering some of those, state contenders, state championship team, lots of great basketball programs, kind of flipped the script from a football school only to both basketball and football taking center stage. Just thinking about this year's squad, though, you talk about some of these new faces many people in the area may not be familiar with quite yet. Who should we expect to see this season?
The first name would be Brady Jones, guy that they might remember from last year. Has had a real big summer, real big off season. He's a dual sport guy, plays a lot of baseball spring and takes a little break from basketball. We kind of changed around our whole summer schedule this year to kind of get around all the travel baseball that he plays, since he's such a big part of our program. Sam Koch, younger brother of Cooper Koch, we had 2 years ago. Sam's going to be really good. He's made huge strides since last year, grown a little bit. He's 6'3" with a 6'5" wingspan, 36-inch vertical. He's a lot different player than Cooper. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I think he's a surefire Division I player in 2-3 years. Colin Morrison, another sophomore lefty, is as tough of a player as we've ever had here. He reminds me a lot of Drew Tucker in terms of just mentality, toughness, leadership, defensive-wise, but even more skill. And then a couple more guys that have grown. Another sophomore, Cam Beekman's grown up to 6'6", 6'8" wingspan. Just a really great, solid team player. Does a little bit of the dirty work. Rebounds really well. Plays around the rim, defends the rim really well. Logan Vasquez, a junior, one of our older guys. We have no seniors right now, so it's kind of one of the things that we'll be looking for right now is who's going to step up and be our leaders. Normally it's naturally just your leaders are the seniors. It's the guys who feels like this is their last year and it's their time to take over, but we're going to be looking for guys to step up and lead a little bit younger this year.
Lots of young players, but very exciting. Get to kind of mold them, and we'll see these names and faces for a couple, maybe even 2 or 3 seasons. So looking forward to that. You mentioned multi-sport athletes. Any guys on the gridiron at all?
We do have Jackson Backus out here. He plays defensive end. He's a sophomore playing varsity right now. He's 6'4" with a 6'8" wingspan. We're hoping he can grow a few more inches, but he's an incredible athlete. He's one of the fastest kids on the football team. At his size, he moves so well. We're real excited to get him back in the gym. Hopefully not for 2 months maybe.
Yeah.
See these football team go as far as they can this year. They're having a great season.
Yeah, you'd be all right with losing him if it means a Metamora deep playoff run, maybe even a state title.
Absolutely.
But switching gears a little bit, of course, you're very in the scene of all the basketball around the Peoria area. There's loads of talent from all these schools. Of course, now you're coaching against them at the high school level. But as you see some of these summer practices, AAU ball, what's your take on just the overall state of the area? There's just so much talent.
I think there's a lot of young talent. I think across the state of Illinois, the senior class last year and this year is not the strongest it's been in a while, so there's going to be a lot. You saw last year a lot of young guys playing early because the junior and senior classes weren't the best. Those were the kids that unfortunately were in 8th grade and freshmen, 7th and 8th grade when COVID hit and kind of got a season wiped out, and I think that hurt a lot of basketball in Illinois for a few years, but we're coming back around. I think Morton's going to be a really tough team this year. They got a lot of balance, a little bit of size. East Peoria's got some talent. Those are probably the 2 top teams.
Yeah, certainly some teams you'll have to face a couple of times this season. What are some other games maybe out of the non-conference? May you play any tournaments, anything you're looking forward to? You don't want to spoil it if you're not allowed to say, but what are you looking forward to?
I probably can't give out who we play at the TOC, but those are always 3. This year it'll be 3 games, usually 4 games for us. We're dropping into the round-robin division this year, but whoever we play out there is always going to be big-time competition. Usually some of the best teams will play all year. I think the year we won state, our only 2 losses all season were at the TOC. We've lost 21 games in the last 4 years. 9 of them have been at TOC, and I think like 5 or 6 more have been at our Christmas tournament. So our tournament up in Chicago, the Jack Tosh Classic, it's going to be all 4A teams, 2,000, 2,500. Some schools got 3,000 kids, so it's a little bit different than playing down here in Central Illinois. You got a lot of teams we play up there have high major Division I football players or basketball players. You tend to see a little bit better athletes up there, a lot of bigger bodies. You got 6'6", 6'7" guys coming in off the bench, and you don't really see that here.
Yeah, we'll certainly be seeing you at the Washington Tournament of Champions. We broadcast that. Always fun to see you guys, the local teams, competing with some of the biggest names across the country. That's really a special tournament, so stay tuned for more coverage of the Washington TOC coming up. Justin, we'll let you get out of here, but maybe a takeaway from the football first half. What'd you notice from the Redbirds?
Oh, I love how much we passed the ball this year. It's
great.
It's a great change. here in Metamora, seeing so many passes and the, I don't know what you'd call it, the double screen pass or the QB screen pass, reverse, whatever we're calling that. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was an excellent play. Metamora up by 10 right now. That's Justin Dame, head coach of Metamora boys basketball. Justin, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Gavin.
We will send it to a quick break, and we'll be back for more halftime coverage here on ClutchSportsIsle.com. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Metamora. It is halftime here on Homecoming. As a bit of an extended halftime. Still have quite a bit of time here to chop it up, but lots to talk about from around the area, of course, of tonight's game as well. Let's break down the first half a little bit, bring some of our viewers into the know. Maybe you've just joined us at halftime. It was a fast start for the Redbirds, 16-0. Stephen Petrie making some wild plays. You have to go back and watch it for yourself. Then the Dragons rattle off 13 straight points, but the Redbirds respond. They finish the half with a touchdown. That back-and-forth matchup really going at it.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, we expected nothing less tonight than that back-and-forth matchup that we have seen. Certainly our expectations have been lived up to thus far here, and again, execution. Both teams have been able to put together their scoring runs based on finding holes in the opponent's defense. That really has been on display both sides. Stephen Petrie able to find those gaps, and Pekin able to do the same thing there. Chase Kruger really demonstrating not just being able to find those gaps, putting together some nice runs in there, catching the ball from his passers as well. So just really a good job. And when both teams are on, I mean, they were on and they were dominant.
Certainly dominant. And speaking of dominance, how about those big wins from the Metamora Redbirds? We alluded to it earlier, but you look at a couple of their biggest wins of the season. Big outscoring number right there. In their wins, they're outscoring opponents 179. Not sure if that's correct, to 11, according to our graphic at least. So we'll go with it, right? But big wins nonetheless for the Redbirds. They're able to get it done on offense. On the other side, the Dragons are more accustomed to the close matchups. Lots of close calls for Pekin. You see there a couple coming in a losing effort, but they finally able to get a close victory last week against Morton. How do you think that benefits both teams in the second half?
Well, you know, I think Pekin, you know, with all of these close games, they know how to play a tight game and kind of keep things into it. So for them, you know, even if you're down, you got to think, you know, just a play or two away. They're used to these scenarios of keeping it close. But if you're Metamora, you're used to blowing things out, and you probably want to put the gas on here and really put this one out of reach early on in the second half. So we're seeing two teams kind of used to two different game scenarios on a more consistent pace here, and I think we could see those two kinds of mindsets almost challenging each other a little bit in terms of just strategy and gamesmanship and just everything out there. So again, I think it's going to make for an interesting dynamic.
It really will, and lots to talk about, I'm sure, at halftime. One thing they did clean up a lot, especially Pekin from a week ago, far less penalties. Seemed like there was a penalty about every other play last week, and I know Doug Nunner probably had his guys on notice in the locker room and in the practice this week. So a very clean ball game played by both sides. But you get a look there at the end of the Metamora High School marching band show. Got about 6 minutes before teams come back out. But thinking about around the area as we switch gears, you know, both of these teams well in the mix and in the hunt for the playoffs. As we look at the Mid-Illini Conference standings, right there, Dunlap able to get another win last week. They are perfect, 5-0 on the season, 3-0 in the conference. Washington has been basically unstoppable since an early season non-conference loss. Metamora, of course, one win away from being playoff eligible, as is East Peoria. But Pekin, Morton, they still have 2 wins. They're still very much in the hunt. It's going to come down to the finish.
Yeah, it is, and it's a big game for Pekin, still needing those 2 wins here. This, for them, certainly would be a nice one to steal, and it's certainly on their minds. Not only would they be able to steal one, but they'd be able to even things up with Metamora in the conference, which could be huge, especially as you get down here to these final few weeks of the season. It's going to make things even closer, but Metamora, you know, you're here in front of your home crowd on homecoming night. Got to think this would be a huge win for them as well. So a big game for both sides. Both have a lot at stake for a little bit different reasons, but still a lot to play for out there. And again, it's shaping up to be nothing short of a thrilling race to the finish.
It's going to be a good one for sure. As we get some scores around the area, take a look at what these teams are doing. Big lead at halftime for Washington. They're up 35-0 on East Peoria. So dominance both sides of the ball there for the Panthers. That one's going on CIProud.com. Jonathan Michael over there calling that one. Our second Clutch Sports game of the week. Other scores, Canton trails Dunlap 35-6. So Dunlap looking like they're going to head to their 6th straight victory. Unbeaten so far, with Alabama commit Max Sutter leading the charge for them. Morton bouncing back. They're up 34-8 at halftime over Limestone. How about some small school action? A score coming in. Princeville, big up over Rova Williamsfield, 35-0 in the 3rd quarter. And we'll look for some other scores from throughout the area as they start to come in. Not always reported on early. Kind of take what you can get there. Lots of blowouts. I think this is probably one of the closest games in Central Illinois. Ever more reason to stick with us to the second half.
Yeah, it absolutely is for sure, and a thrilling one thus far. That first half did not disappoint on either side, no matter who you're a fan of. Lots to like there on both sides, and the second half, again, it's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. Definitely worth tuning in, sticking around, seeing how this one unfolds.
We talked earlier a little bit about these 2 coaches and the dynamic that they have. Very different perspectives. We put the graphic up there for Doug Nutter. Didn't get a chance to talk as much about Nick Dolinsky. And the Metamora grad, he's been around for a very long time in this program, both as a player and now he's coaching. He was coaching for a very long time as the offensive coordinator. Now he's the head coach. I don't know if you drove in on Illinois Route 116 coming up to Metamora, but they had a series of signs along the road supporting their Redbirds, and one of them said something to the effect of Dolinsky's bringing the mojo back. They're looking to get back to true Redbird form, the multi-time state champion, state final appearance. They've been a contender just about every year in their history, and they're looking to get it done under Nick Dolinsky.
Yeah, it certainly is. Going to a new guy at the helm this season, and I don't think you could ask for much better results than what you've had thus far. And Metamora on pace to go 5-1 if they maintain the lead through the second half. So Nick Dolinsky so far is indeed bringing that mojo.
Oh yeah, really is. And those signs along the road might strike a little fear into opposing teams if they come up Route 116. I think one of them said, "Our sweat, something to the effect of blood, sweat, and tears," but it's signifying the opponent is going to have the tears. Metamora is going to have the blood and the sweat. So they strike a little fear into the opposition even before they get off of the bus. And so far, the Redbirds able to hold up their end with the lead. Teams come back out for their warm-ups. Let's talk maybe some keys to the second half, Michael. For Metamora, got to probably keep the pace going. They start with the ball in the second half. What's something else they can do to keep this going and earn a W?
I think what they need to do is stick with the guy that has been getting it done for them, Stephen Petrie. Get the ball to him, give him chances to get down the gridiron, get into that end zone as much as possible, because he has been a one-man wrecking crew on offense for them. And I think if you're Metamora, kind of keep that flowing, find ways to get Petrie involved in plays. And I think if Metamora is able to do that, they are going to find some of that same success that they had in that first half.
And then you think about on the other side for Pekin, you're behind, so not an ideal circumstance, but you're certainly varying this ball game. What's one thing they could do?
I think one thing Pekin needs to do, again, to stay on top of the defensive side of the ball, because that's where Metamora is going to come and bite you. And then, again, Pekin very capable of putting up some points. They've had a lot of close games, a lot of lower scoring affairs, but they are capable of getting the ball into the end zone, and being able to do that, I think, again, that's going to be a big key for them.
We'll see if those keys shake out as teams will finish up their warm-ups here for a couple minutes. We'd like to remind you that tonight's ball game is brought to you by Field Service Technologies. At Field Service Technologies, they ensure seamless execution of on-site services such as maintenance, safety integration, in-plant machinery moves and relocations, repairs, installations, and inspections. To learn more about Field Service Technologies, you can visit their website at fieldservicetechnologies.com. Also by CSM Overtime, home to all of the written content and coverage of Clutch Sports Media. Biggest, most in-depth coverage anywhere in Central Illinois, covering over 30 area schools, big schools, small schools, and everything in between. We cover all sports, not just football, but volleyball, soccer, tennis, golf, you name it, we've got it all. So I suggest you try it for yourself. Just $8.49 a month. Check it out today, QR code, or at clutchsportsil.com/overtime. And if you're interested in advertising your business or service, you're free to reach out to us. We're looking for any local businesses wanting to promote their product. We want to help grow your brand locally to thousands of fans here in Central Illinois as you continue to support high school athletics. So reach out to us today. You can go out to the website, clutchsportsil.com, fill out a contact form, or send us an email, clutchsportsil@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you today. A minute and a half before we get rocking and rolling for half number 2. Again, if you've joined us late, it's big note, 2 star running backs down for the count, at least for tonight's game. Don't appear to be season-ending injuries, but prohibiting them from playing tonight. Jadon Cranford, the Northern Illinois commit, out for tonight's game. Ty Jackson, undisclosed, out for tonight's game. So both starting running backs absent. Backup running back for Metamora, Keon Allen, missed most of the first half with a hand injury. He appears to be okay now, but certainly adversity on both sides as they manage the long struggle of the season.
Yeah, and we're getting to that point where, unfortunately, sometimes those injuries and other factors can trickle in on your team and leave you going to relying on some of that depth as you get on into the latter part of the season. But as a fan, I mean, both number ones down and evens up that playing field a little bit out there, and it gives you a chance to see what some of your younger guys, some of your depth have in their skill set as well, and again opens that door for perhaps more playing time down the road and into the next year or two. So despite the adversity, again, overcoming adversity, a big part of the game of football. Both teams here looking to do that, and we'll see what excitement unfolds here in the second half.
It's going to be good indeed. Tell your friends, tell your family, get to clutchsportsil.com now. Time for second half kickoff as Pekin will boot it away. And Metamora will try to build on their 10-point lead. Pekin trying to clutch up and make a big defensive stop. Ball's booted away. Final half of action is underway. Here's a return, near side of the field, makes a cut up, makes a couple men miss, and a sizable return. And it'll be modest field position to start out with, as once again on the return, it's Braden Cox. Metamora will start with the ball. Stephen Petrie, electric in the first half. Took it in on a quarterback keeper and then caught a touchdown. Any Illinois Fighting Illini fans, a little bit reminiscent of Luke Altmaier in last week's win against USC, where he caught a touchdown, of course threw for a touchdown, and ran for a touchdown. So we'll see if Petrie can complete the trifecta. He will run it to start things out, and he'll get a good gain right there. Breaks a couple arm tackles, and the Pile just continuing to plow forward. Huge gain to start the first half.
That is a phenomenal start for Metamora. You wanted to set the tone early, and they have done just that here. Less than 30 seconds in, and Redbirds have all the momentum.
I think Doug Nutter's going to be less than pleased. A lot of arm tackles. You got to go down low. You got to wrap him up by the feet. Otherwise, you're probably not going to bring him down. You'll go for a trip with him. It's Petrie. He's got some good size, lots of good strength. He'll go back, rinse and repeat. Once again, plows forward for some good yardage. Not quite as much that time. But it's another first down for Metamora, and they are cruising less than a minute into the second half. I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh, certainly not. It is. And going strong here for Metamora, and you can hear the crowd getting loud already in the second half here. Again, homecoming night. Lots of folks on hand from both sides.
They are eager. They're in bright colors, and they want to see the Redbirds win. Not on the other side. Those are the Pekin fans. Once again, a keeper to Petrie. This one is not going to go quite as far. He's still on his feet. Now the Pile just continues to push forward as Nick Dolinsky fired up on the sideline. Raises his hands, pumps up the crowd. I think this means a little something to him.
Oh, it absolutely does. This is a big game. We've talked about that, how big this game is for both teams here, and give credit where credit is due. Petrie sticking to it, getting as far as he absolutely can just as the Dragons swarm him. And again, endurance, seeing that athleticism on display, high level here in this second half, and as Metamora looks to continue an impressive run.
It's going to be a pass this time. Petrie launches, corner, end zone. It is going to be short. Fans wanting a flag. A little bit of pushing and shoving. Might have been contact on both sides. You like the no call, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all right for this moment here early on in the second half. You don't want to set the tone with tons of penalties flying out of the gate there, and especially if it's a little bit on both, I think kind of evens itself out, and we can move on and play ball.
I'm here for it. Let them play. That's what I say, Michael. Within reason, of course. Third and short. It's going to be another keeper. Petrie once again, and he'll have enough, looks like, for a first down. Pekin starting to figure it out just a little bit. Trying. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, we're seeing that defense tighten up just a little bit now on the Dragon side, and now would be certainly a good time for that defense to tighten up, because Metamora has just been pushing and pushing and pushing. Even hard to just get a tackle on them. So for Pekin, tightening up that defense, certainly going to be a nice way to kind of turn the tides back in your favor.
They're going to have to win it on the D-line. 3 seniors starting on the defensive line. Donovan Knack, Cam Wheeler, and Peyton Bridgman for the Dragons. Hands off, Ashelman, and that one did not go anywhere. So finally Pekin with a play in their favor. 2nd and 10, back to the line of scrimmage. Ashelman will stay in the backfield. No Keon Allen. He did come back into the game briefly, but could be nursing an injury. Both replacing Cranford. Back to Ashelman. Rather, it's going to be kept. Petrie got a couple out of the deal on the keeper. And it's going to be 3rd and long, so Pekin starting to dig their heels in a little bit. This feels like a big chance for a stop.
Yeah, it does, and you certainly need to get that stop if you're Pekin. The ball back on your side here. And you don't want Metamora to get off to another red-hot start like they did back in the very first quarter of this game.
Far side of your screen, Kylan McMillan. He's had big catches all night. Let's see who they go to on third down. It is going to be a pass. They'll go to the near side. Turns around to Bittner. First time they've looked his way tonight, it is incomplete, and it's a 4th and long. You're kind of in this no man's land. The high school level, kind of a rarity to have a good kicker, place kicker that is. So you're kind of in a spot where you're not going to punt, probably not going to kick a field goal. Might as well just go for it.
Yeah, that's what I say. I say go for it. Like we talked about, let them play. See it here, they go for it, they will.
Pekin is not at all set up, and Doug Nutter wisely will take a timeout. So Doug Nutter will try and talk to his squad ahead of the big 4th down. Could be a big momentum shift, but while we got a break, let's talk about our great sponsors for tonight's game, Field Service Technologies. At Field Service Technologies, they ensure seamless execution of on-site services such as maintenance, safety integration, implant machinery moves, repairs, installations, and inspections. Visit fieldservicetechnologies.com to learn more. Also by CSM Overtime. Subscribe to Clutch Sports Media Overtime for more coverage of Central Illinois high school sports. From feature stories to expert analysis from our team of reporters. CSM Overtime is the best way to stay up to date with your favorite high school sports. Got the QR code right there on your screen or clutchsportsil.com/overtime. Again, folks, we cover all sports, not just football. Plenty of coverage on the gridiron. But if your favorite school and team plays it, we probably cover it. 4th down. See what Nick Dolinsky drew up. Let's see if Doug Nutter drew something up better in their respective huddles. It's going to be a pass. Petrie, pressured. He's got room to run. Will he get enough for the first down? Comes back to the near side. Cuts through. He's going to be wrapped up in a pile and a little bit short of the first down. What an athletic play to even make something of that. It looked like he was dead in the water.
Yeah, it did, and kind of did a little bit of some swivel moves and some dodges to just get down the field as much as he possibly could. And again, just short of a first down, but just a terrific play to kind of make something out of what looked to be kind of just a routine downer there.
On the play, a casualty for the Dragons. Didn't get a number quite yet. We'll see as they tend to the injured lineman. But going back to that play, what a stand there for the Dragons. They clearly had it wrapped up. It looked like he was ready to pass. Petrie was definitely looking that direction as the injured Dragon. Looks like that was number 8, Peyton Bridgman. He walks off under his own power, so hoping he's all right. But Pekin able to make a stand, and now they get the ball. And they can cut this to a 1-score deficit if they can drive nearly the length of the field. They've got 81 yards to go. Here's a throw, little screen pass, Bobby Martin, and he'll get a bit of a chunk. He's really been the only receiver in action tonight getting targets. Typically, we see a little more of Noah Perfetti, Braylon Korma, but got to go to the senior, trusty guy.
Yeah, and the senior, lots of experience in there, has seen a lot of things. So if you have to go to somebody else besides your normal guys, I think a senior, always a good move.
And that one's going to be wrapped up in the backfield, a big slam. Daw was brought back and lost yards right there. 97, Caden Petoni. Had to check the notes, make sure we had the right number there. Petoni, one of the big D linemen, he's a junior, so he'll be back for another season. 3rd down and 4. It's a keeper. Benassi is going to be right near the sticks. We'll see if they give him a favorable spot. And they're going to give him the 1st down probably by just the nose of the football.
Yeah, by the slim margin there for sure, but a big 1st down.
Guess it doesn't matter how you get it. You just got to keep moving the chains.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pekin slows it down. 15 on the play clock, and they'll get set up. 3 receivers out now, as it's going to be a handoff. Trying to work his way up just a couple of yards. Looks like that's Trailer. Trailer last week had 6 rushes for 24 yards. His longest of the game was 10 yards. Quite a bit more action today in the absence of Ty Jackson. Second and 8. Over halfway through the 3rd quarter. Pekin trying to get this to a 1-score game. It's going to be a pitch play. Here's a run. And a flag comes out. I believe this is going to be a block in the back or a hold on the Dragons. See what the official call is. This really would be a drive killer, Michael, if it is on Pekin.
Yeah, it certainly would. Not what you want.
And it will be on the Dragons, so costly penalty there. It'll be a holding. Trying to go back to what they were trying early on in the 1st half. A lot of options, a lot of pitch plays, men in motion. Didn't work right there. It's going to be a wildcat play, throws down the field. Nearly a good catch. Well covered there by the Redbirds. All over the coverage was Tony Holmes. Rather, that's not Tony Holmes, that's Braden Bittner. 3rd and 18, long play here, Michael. What do you dial up?
Yeah, I got to think here. Still want to probably go for it here. We haven't had any scoring yet in this quarter, over halfway through. I think now's the time where you want to push the envelope, make something happen here.
5 receivers out, and the play clock expired. And it's going to be backing them up 5 more. So into country mile territory on 3rd down. Now you're really going to have to tear off a major chunk if you want to get a 1st down.
Yeah, now's the time where you might think about kind of cutting your losses there. A bit of an unforced error there on Pekin's side. And when you're already down 10 in this one here, it's not really the type of things you want happening right now.
Certainly not. Obviously, Metamora's made some sort of adjustment. Has really not allowed much at all for Pekin so far in the 2nd half. It's going to be a pass. Pressure coming in. Morrison was there. Long pass out of the reach of his receiver, Chase Kruger. And it was Caleb Morrison. He shot in there like a cannon, knocking down Benassi.
Yeah, he did. That was just tremendous out there all the way around by Morrison. And, again, a lot of tough guys out there on the field, but it is tough to knock down Benassi like that and really go at him. So kudos to him on that one.
Yeah, Benassi's a big guy, 6'3", 185. So not an easy one to bring down, that's for sure. And it's going to be a punt. Earlier in the game, Pekin punted, didn't go very far. They'd like to see that one travel a little farther. Low snap, able to get it off. Going to be at the 40-yard line, so very short field here for the Redbirds, and they're certainly looking to cash in.
Yeah, you certainly want to. And the punt game not been real strong for the Dragons. Some pretty short punts in the couple that we have seen here tonight. And for Metamora, again, that's just giving them that opportunity. And for Pekin, you don't want to slip any farther behind here. But a good opportunity here for the Redbirds. So we'll see if they are able to capitalize like they have done so far in this one.
They'll get it right at the 40-yard line. Hands it off. Ashelman, he breaks through 2 tackles and still going. Pekin unable to bring down some of these ball carriers, but there is a flag, and it's going to be holding on the offense. And Ashelman right there had a nice run, breaking a couple tackles, but came via an illegal play with the hold. So now this feels like a big chance for Pekin as Metamora starts farther back.
Yeah, this is the chance now for Pekin to answer back, kind of capitalize on a Metamora mistake kind of after their drive fell flat.
So it'll back them up right to midfield at the 50-yard line. Man in motion. It is going to be another handoff to Ashelman. He breaks through the defense. He gets hit, but he gets a big gain. Erases the holding penalty. And he'll be in there for about a 2nd and 6 coming up next.
Yeah, Ashelman putting together some nice runs here. And again, slipping through that Pekin defense, but to Pekin's credit, taking him down very rapidly.
Pekin really doesn't know what to expect. Petrie's run the ball a lot. Ashelman getting in on the game. Even seen some passing tonight as well. Lots of trickery from Nick Dolinsky's squad. Here is Ashelman. Rather, it's a pass. Nice defense right there. Logan McCann all over that one. Great coverage, and I think he tipped that ball away.
Yeah, he certainly did. Great efforts all around there. Again, a big moment here in this one here. Still no scoring in this third quarter.
Yeah, time's starting to wind down. Going by rather fast. We've seen both teams just kind of doing a little bit here and there. Not able to cash in so far. 3rd and long. It is going to be another keeper from Petrie, and he's knocked down just shy of the sticks. We'll see where the official spot goes. There's a flag on the far side of the field. It's an illegal shift, so no play there, as it'll back the Redbirds up. And yet another penalty negating, well, a really good play.
Yeah, and we didn't really see too many penalties in that first half, but they are popping up just a slightly more here in this one, and it has been just on some unforced mistakes here, and so far no team has paid for it, but still got 3:45 left here in this quarter, so we'll see if this penalty has much of an impact.
Yeah, it'll back them up to now 3rd and longer, 3rd and about 12. So races what could have been first down, depending on the spot, now backs them up 12 yards short of that first down. Petrie, he's going to hand it off. Ashelman once again gets some good blocks, but he's tripped up. And a big stop there for Pekin. Now Metamora, a decision. Probably, again, you're not going to kick a field goal. Maybe a hair too short to punt. This feels like one you got to go for.
Yeah, it certainly does. And again, needs something to spark things here in this one. Scoring in this quarter has been non-existent thus far. And again, rev those engines, push that envelope. It's going to be a big key here.
It's 4th down, big play, 6 yards to a first down. Takes the snap. It's going to be a keeper. Petrie He's wrapped up. Is he going to get there? It's going to be close. Pekin thinks they made the stop. Depends on the spot. Going to be very close. And it is going to be Pekin football.
And that is exactly what Pekin wanted there. Get the ball back on downs. And we'll see here. The Dragons have played very sharply on the defensive side, but again, we haven't seen much on offense from either team. But this is Pekin's chance here. Put that score in here right at the tail end of this third quarter. Then you go into the fourth with all that momentum on your side, which is huge, especially since this is just a 10-point game. You know, things can still swing pretty dramatically.
They really can. Got 2:52 to the end of the quarter, but I'm sure Pekin would like to just take however long they need to make it a scoring drive. Here's the hand up the middle, and gonna get about half of what he needed for a first down. Bodies bumping, Jackson Trailer on the carry. But Pekin in this third quarter, 2 stops on fourth down. So they've stood tall when they needed to, and they've been dealt kind of a bad hand early on in this second half, able to make some big plays.
Yeah, they certainly have, and now they get a chance here to take advantage.
Here's Kruger. Kruger will fight forward for a very short gain. This will be 3rd and about 4. Pekin not getting super adventurous so far in this second half. Really haven't passed the ball. Trying to just run the ball up the middle. It is going to be another keeper. Benassi got a block, and he will roll forward over a Metamora body for the first down.
And for Pekin, just keep that ball advancing is going to be the key here. Just let it roll here. This is likely your last shot here of the quarter. And you definitely don't want to let Metamora have another chance if you're the Dragons, so keep this one, run out that clock.
It's going to be a handoff, and it's going to be a loss of about 1. Went with a bit of a draw play, but Metamora was all over it, and it's going to be 2nd and 11. Nearly 1 minute to play in the third quarter. Pekin driving. Here's a pass, quick one. And it's going to be a rather short gain, but some positive yardage for the Dragons. Keyshawn Walker, the sophomore, not really a big part of their offense so far, but some more sophomores getting in on the action now on Pekin's side.
Yeah, it gives you some different looks out there as well. Again, those young guys get an opportunity in this big game here. It's a great experience for them.
3rd and 5. Time ticking down in the third. Here's a handoff up the middle. And it's going to be just enough for a first down as Jackson Trailer bullies his way forward. So the ball's starting to move a little bit for the Dragons.
Yeah, we are. We're seeing them here again, just kind of piecing things together play after play, getting that yardage, which is key for them here. And they're going to be in a good position here coming out of quarter number 3.
It looks like they will hold on to it heading into the 4th and final frame of the ball game. No scoring in the third. Lots of big defensive stands as Metamora still leads by 10, 23-13. At our break, we'd like to remind you of tonight's great sponsor here on CSM. It's Field Service Technologies. At Field Service Technologies, they ensure seamless execution of on-site services such as maintenance, safety integration, implant machinery moves and relocations, repairs, installations, and inspections. To learn more, please visit fieldservicetechnologies.com. Also by Clutch Sports Media Overtime. You can follow your school and the stories you care about on CSM Overtime. By far the most coverage in the area for all prep sports. Football, of course, a big focus for us this time of year, but all fall sports heading into the playoffs. Volleyball, golf, soccer, tennis, you name it, we cover it. Check it out today, QR code or clutchsportsisle.com/overtime. Fourth quarter is upon us. Pekin doesn't have to go far to flip the field for the fourth and final frame. And feels like a big spot here. Pekin really needs to find the end zone on this drive to give themselves a shot.
Yeah, they certainly do here. This is a big spot for Pekin. Put together some momentum going out of that third quarter here. We'll see how they can carry that over here.
We'll start from the 45. They'll give it up the middle, trailer, and a flag comes in late. Couple flags. Didn't see a call. Two flags were in. Didn't see much there. Officials had eyes on something different. It looks like Pekin is backing up. And another hold, another costly penalty. There were two separate holdings, that is. Same result. Will that be a drive killer for the Dragons? 1st and 20. Now they'll start. Benassi will pass. He finds Bobby Martin. Got a bit of a block. They'll get about 9 back. So nearly erases the penalty yardage. And a injury timeout. Looks like a cramp from Braden Bittner. What did you think about that first play on 1st and long?
Yeah, it was a strong play there all around. And again, momentum. Definitely on your side here, or you want it on your side. And we will see how Pekin answers, but those holding calls make this a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, holdings have really been the kryptonite, if you will, for Pekin in the last couple of weeks. They were able to overcome it in their win against Morton in week 5. So far, it has hurt them a little bit more. It'll be 2nd and 12 after the spot. Much more manageable for the Dragons. It's going to be a keeper. Benassi was hit immediately in the backfield. But he's able to stumble forward and turns those big legs on that 6'3" frame. And it brings up a 3rd and long. Benassi goes with a hard count. 4 receivers out there, one to the near side, trips to the far side. Benassi gonna pass again, nearly picked off. That had pick 6 written all over it, Michael. Nevertheless, a nice play. You see how he just reads it, gets right in front of it. He just can't come up with the INT.
Yeah, almost a tremendous play there by Metamora, and a big break for Pekin. A near disaster for the Dragons.
And a big 4th down. Here's a pass. Goes over. It's blown up. Are they going to call it a fumble? It is a fumble. Metamora running back the other direction. It's going to go for 6. Touchdown, Redbirds. Wow, what a play. We'll see if the receiver had control. They say he did. And Jason Pickles goes back, returns the fumble. A huge swing 6 more for the Redbirds.
Yeah, that is a big-time play there for Metamora. After a bit of a scoring drought in the third quarter where neither team reached the end zone, the Redbirds do it here in the fourth. A huge, huge insurance score, and that woke up this crowd here, Gavin, that's for sure.
Extra point is good. And how about that hit? What a play from the Redbirds as they go in front 30-13. It's felt like one of those that maybe at the professional or college level where you have a replay, you definitely take a look. Do you determine, did he have control? Did he have enough time of possession in order to call it a fumble? It was very borderline. Referees decided to let it play, and honestly, I think we've talked about it a few times. We're a fan of just letting it happen how it happens, and Jason Pickles makes the most of it.
Yeah, we are, and certainly I think it was a good call in the end to just kind of let the play develop, and got an exciting moment out of it, that's for sure. And again, we certainly after the game you and I covered last week, we saw just how penalties can kind of take over the game almost. So I think it's a good job to not wave the flag on those borderline ones and just on the more blatant ones.
Agreed. Been a lot better tonight. A lot cleaner football, as we expect from both of these programs. And now it's really Metamora's game to lose. We'll see if Pekin's got anything left in the tank. Big uphill battle to climb. They'll have to score and in a hurry. See if the special teamers can get it done for the Dragons. It'll be kicked away. Lands about the 20-yard line. Kick is muffed. Going to get some space on the far side. Going to get a decent return. So a positive there for Pekin. But just a little over 10 minutes to play in the ball game. Again, it feels like Metamora just zapped all of that momentum the Dragons had going.
Yeah, they did. I mean, that completely flipped how this quarter and how this game was shaping up. It looked like a close finish, but Redbirds got a huge score late in this one. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it feels like right now it's the Redbirds for the taking, and Pekin has quite the battle to do in just the last 10.5 minutes or so.
We'll see what they got up their sleeve. Some miscommunication on the Metamora side of things. They didn't even have 11 out there. They're still able to blow it up. Didn't even have all the personnel on the field. Feels like you kind of have to shake off the fumble on the last drive. Really, the passing game is probably going to be the best bet for the Dragons.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think right now just pass, try and get up and string together some nice plays.
They're going to stick with the run, though, as trailer. Modest gain, but it'll bring up a third down. Wonder if Pekin's trying to set themselves up for a big pass play. Metamora's really dominated the passing game tonight. Pekin can air it out, though. Plenty of trusty receivers for Brogan Benassi. He will throw it. It's going to be a short one to his running back, Kruger. Kruger will be just a yard short. Of course, they have to go for it here on fourth down.
Going for it here, and big moment here. You never know what could happen.
4th and 1. Crowd starts to get fired up a little bit. Stands shake again. It's going to be another keeper, and it will be plenty for a first down. Didn't have far to go. Time very much the enemy now of Pekin. You've got a lot of ground to make up and not very much time. Surprised they're still running the football.
Yeah, it's certainly an uphill battle, and crazier things have happened.
And it's going to be blown up. Kruger was met immediately. Maybe got a yard out of the deal. It's just been Caleb Morrison, Grady Neal, and Saul Swanson, the linebackers for Metamora, having themselves a night.
Yeah, they are. It has been top-notch on the defensive end. No question about it.
And I believe going back to that forced fumble, I believe it was Morrison who forced the fumble that led to 6. Jason Pickles picked it up. It is going to be a pass now. Throws over the middle. It hit him right in the chest. Unable to haul it in. It was Jaden Daw, who's got a lot more playing time tonight in the absence of Ty Jackson. 3rd and long. And a tick under 8 minutes to go. And we'll get a timeout ahead of the 3rd down play from Metamora. What do you think they're talking about in their respective huddles, Michael?
I think right now, on Metamora side, Coach Nick Dolinsky kind of telling his guys, like, hey, stay locked in here. They're just a few minutes away from closing this one out. Don't let Pekin kind of sneak in and give themselves a shot at this one. And Doug Nutter, I think, telling his guys here, fight the good fight. Don't keep your head out of this one. Still some time here to work with, and not a lot of it to make up this ground here, but still some time to string some things together. So, kind of some opposing points being shared, but I think the one commonality on both sides is certainly don't think this one is over.
Got to play all 4 quarters right down to the final horn. 7:44 to go before we call this one quits, unless we see a miraculous comeback from the Dragons. That would be one of the all-timers I've ever seen. Like you said, stranger things have happened. Metamora in good shape right now, though. Pitching a shutout so far here in the second half.
Yeah, it has been impressive to watch on the defensive end, really silencing that Pekin momentum.
Manasseh's going to launch it again. It looked like he had some pressure in his face. It was inaccurate as they were going for Bobby Martin, and it brings up another 4th down. Didn't get much going off the timeout. It feels like this Metamora secondary has just been lights out. Really nothing going on. A few short catches, but brought down very quickly. Again, missing Cranford, not just on offense, but he's also a starting cornerback. But here's another 4th down. Benassi, he's going to keep it, and he is wrapped up and put down. Turnover on downs as Metamora will retain possession.
And a big job there by Metamora getting the ball back, especially as late as this one is here. Got to think at this point here, you're just about ready to get that ball, run the clock out.
It was Jackson Backus coming up for the TFL and the turnover on downs, and how Metamora can just really play the clock, grinding this one away, trying to move the ball and maybe make a statement on homecoming. It will be another handoff. Ashelman. Fumble, ball came out, and it looks like Pekin might have gotten it. I think it slipped out of the hand of a Dragon, though, at the last second. And Metamora catches a break.
Yeah, that would have been a big grab for Pekin had they held on to it.
You see there at the end, had his hands on it, just could not secure it. Travion House. So Metamora very fortunate. It ends up being a 1st down after it's all said and done. Ball security probably about the biggest thing Metamora needs to do to finish this one out. It'll be a keeper. Petrie is brought down by Travion House. Stops his momentum. So he'll get a couple yards. Pekin faithful still sticking around throughout this one. Seeing it till the end as well. But the Metamora fans, and specifically the student section, they start the "I believe we will win" chant. They might be right. It's going to be a keeper, Petrie. And he just turns the legs. He is unable to get brought down to the ground. How many times have we seen that tonight?
Yeah, we've seen that a lot throughout this one. I mean, Petrie just a different animal out there, just able to get the ball into the end zone several times in a game. Tough to take down. I mean, those are some special types of athletes out there, and has definitely been a game changer in this one for Metamora.
Sure, we'll talk about our unofficial player of the game award that we always like to hand out. He's probably in contention, and that is Stephen Petrie. Here's the run. Ashelman, he breaks through a hole. He's going. Is he short or is he in? Just short. Ashelman bursts through the offensive line and comes up about a half-yard short. And he's really stepped up in a big way with the absence of a couple of the top running backs for the Redbirds.
Yeah, he has, and tremendous play out of the sophomore here tonight. Again, seeing some of that depth really come through in some big moments. Ashelman has certainly been impressive here.
Petrie keeps it himself. Not much to do there. Lowers the shoulder and in for 6 more. Touchdown, Redbirds. One more for good measure for Stephen Petrie, who's had an outstanding ball game tonight. He was a big reason they scored 16 points early on. So far, that early 16-0 lead has not been compromised at all. They've just added to it little by little as the kick is good. 37-13. And this one all but put to bed here for the Redbirds.
Yeah, that pretty much the icing right on top of the cake there for Metamora. They played a phenomenal football game here tonight, and now with a very comfortable lead through the last 5:22 of this one, and put on quite a show in front of their homecoming crowd tonight.
This is definitely where Pekin probably goes into the bag of tricks. Maybe try something you normally wouldn't try. But given the situation, I think anything probably goes. Maybe we'll see some exciting plays from Pekin in the final 5:22.
Yeah, I think Pekin will definitely try some new tricks out of their playbook, and yeah, we could see some very interesting things on their side here, and maybe make things just a little bit dicey to end this one off.
It's always a rivalry, right? You know, you don't want to leave a rivalry totally empty-handed. They played a very tight first half. Of course, it slipped away with a couple of quick touchdowns. It was really that fumble recovery return that completely changed the feeling of this game. And then since then, it's been all Metamora. But definitely maybe some bragging rights. See if they can pull something off here in the 5:22. It's a short kick and a fair catch. Going to be kneeled down. Getting some more looks for Keyshawn Walker, the sophomore. As Brogan Benassi will come back out trying to make something happen. You know, there's a lot of special plays out there. The Philly special being the one that first comes to my mind. Wonder if Pekin has a play named after themselves, something really tricky. Maybe they'll pull it out.
Yeah, we could see that. Could see perhaps a little bit of a Pekin special here.
Panassi, going to throw a screen pass and going to be open. Bobby Martin able to pick up some yardage. Looks like they'll take more of the route of, let's try and make something work to take with us to next week. But if you look at the upcoming schedule for both these teams, Pekin has a really favorable schedule still to get to those 5 wins needed to get to the playoffs. They've got Canton, Limestone, and East Peoria. All very winnable, even favorable games there for the Dragons. As a second down run, moves the sticks. Hasn't gone your way early this season for Pekin. You've taken some bumps and bruises. You lost one of your best players for the season, but you're still in a good position to get to the playoffs, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it absolutely is, just getting into that dance and then seeing where things go from there. And, yeah, you're right. I mean, this season definitely not over for Pekin.
There's a run. Trailer able to tear off a few yards. On the other side, the remaining schedule for Metamora is a little bit dicier. They also play Limestone and East Peoria, but their big Week 9 matchup comes against Dunlap. Dunlap, who last checked was up big in their matchup and probably going to stay undefeated through 6 weeks. That one could have conference implications, of course, playoff seeding implications. That's going to just be a really special Week 9 matchup. I'm already looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, that'll be one to watch and circle on the calendars there for sure.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be back out here in Week 9. Always a good trip to Malone Field. Metamora, a very kind host as always. And Panassi tries to keep it again. Kind of just wearing the time down, moving the ball a little bit. Taking away small victories here in the late stages. Pekin is a team not totally decided what class they would be in if they made the playoffs. A quick swing. And there's a completed pass. There's some big yardage. They get it back up to Keyshawn Walker, the sophomore. The big gainer. But with a lot of enrollment changes, kind of back and forth between certain classes. Pekin typically has been playing in Class 7A, which includes most of Chicagoland area. Some of the bigger schools from around the state might be moving down to 6A, which could be to their benefit. Metamora could be playing in Class 4A, meaning they've dropped down a class. I think, again, for both these schools, you're not going to meet up in the playoffs, but they definitely could put their competition on notice playing each other here tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we've seen some strong play on both sides. Despite the scoring difference, still a lot to like out of both sides here tonight. And you're right, again, both teams get in the playoffs again. Could be an interesting dance with their competition.
And incomplete to Bobby Martin, who has it fall right off his hands. Lots of seeding, or rather conference teams having enrollment reconfigurements this season. So lots of ups and downs, and we don't even know for sure until the playoff seedings come out. There's no way to say for sure where a team's going to be placed. One of the interesting things about the IHSA playoffs, we'll just have to wait and see. They go towards the end zone, and nearly a one-handed snag. That would have been a highlight on its own. It was a really good effort for Keyshawn Walker, who I think might be the future of Pekin football, at least from what we've seen tonight. But just a little bit out of his reach.
Yeah, a great effort. I mean, you see a strong throw. Just so close to a one-handed grab for the touchdown. Tough break there for the Dragons.
That's a moment he'll probably remember a couple years from now. There's a play, nearly intercepted. It's a 4th down, turnover on downs. And Metamora can just bleed the clock out in the final 2 minutes of the ball game.
And credit to Metamora on the defense. They were absolutely nails in this second half, not allowing really anything. And able to take this one and really put this one out of reach.
It's going to be, looks like a lot of backup Redbirds coming in to play a couple of snaps. Get in on homecoming, maybe some of the guys from the JV level. Everybody gets an opportunity to play tonight, and it's going to be a sweet homecoming victory here for Metamora. As they'll hand it off. It's going to be Paul Deeb is going to come in to play running back. A special teamer, a senior. Love to get some of your extra guys that maybe aren't always talked about as much, a chance to do something here in the late window. And it's very possible. There's so many phenomenal athletes that get overlooked. Maybe not overlooked, but don't get the playing time that they would get on other teams because of who's ahead of them, typically with Cranford and Allen. But some injuries, letting some guys get some opportunities tonight. There's Deeb again, showing it off right there. Maybe bargaining his way for some more playing time.
Yeah, and that's sometimes the beauty in having a game where you can let some of those guys who don't see the field as much get out there, and they can put together here a nice little run late in this one.
One minute to go in the ball game. Don't have to do anything fancy if you don't want to. Couple more handoffs, and it'll seal the deal for the Redbirds. Christian Nelson is the backup signal caller for the Redbirds, a junior. So getting a taste of probably what he'll do next year, and he takes a knee, as that will be the ball game. Final score, Metamora 37, Pekin 13, a dominating second half for the Redbirds, and they'll go to playoff eligibility with their 5th win, and they'll look to tack on more through the rest of the season. Pekin, they will fall to 2-4 on the year, still in the hunt, but a big win on homecoming for Metamora.
And a terrific effort all around by both sides, who really played well. Metamora able to just execute a little bit better on, especially on that defensive side, and on offense. I mean, they held nothing back from that one. Stephen Petrie, talked about him a lot in this one, but he was a big X factor out on the field for Metamora. Lots of scores, and Redbirds just able to pull away, staying sharp on defense. We thought Pekin was going to break through and really tighten this one up in that second half, but things just did not fall their way. And again, credit to Metamora's defense. They stood strong, and Pekin, despite some strong runs, some strong efforts, just the chips didn't fall their way here tonight, but still have a shot there at the playoff eligibility, so you certainly need to take the positives out of this one and take it moving forward on to next week.
Great points there, Michael. It was a fun one tonight. We'll break down just a hair more after we talk about our great sponsors for one final time. Only possible with their help. Big thanks to Field Service Technologies, and you can contact Field Service Technologies to ensure a seamless execution of on-site services, such as maintenance, safety integration, implant machinery moves and relocations, repairs, installation, and inspections. If you'd like to learn more, sounds interesting to you, you can visit fieldservicetechnologies.com. A big thanks to have them on board tonight, supporting high school athletics and CSM. Also like to give a shout out to CSM Overtime. You can find scores and recaps from tonight's game here in Metamora, as well as all other football games going on in Central Illinois, as a part of the roundups only on CSM Overtime. We have those every night of the week, except for Sunday when there's no high school sports. Covers all sports going on. Cross country, golf, volleyball, everything. And we're about to head into the winter sports season, so plenty of coverage to be had from our team of experts and writers here in Central Illinois. And we'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in advertising your local business or service, promote your business to thousands of high school sports fans all throughout Central Illinois, both on our weekly broadcasts and our social media channels. You can message us today at clutchsportsil.com or send us an email, clutchsportsil@gmail.com. For more information, we'd love to have you on board. Michael, as we wrap this one up, lots of takeaways from both teams. Again, they go into the final stretch of the season. A little bit different outlooks, not out of the weeds yet, though. 3 big weeks ahead. It's more fun football to be had. Just your final takeaways from tonight's ballgame.
Yeah, Gavin, I think you hit the nail right on the head there. Last 3 weeks of the regular season, a big 3 weeks for Pekin, needing those 3 to get playoff eligibility on their side. And again, lots of positives from both sides. Metamora played extremely well on both sides of the ball. Pekin's defense was fairly good, except for a few little small spots here and there, which Metamora was able to take advantage of. But Pekin, again, able to keep that defense strong, try out some new tricks out there. And Rogan Benassi, he's got an arm, and that is certainly going to be something Pekin will want to take advantage of in these next 3 weeks.
We'll see if they can take advantage of it. We'll be covering these teams all throughout the rest of this season. And for both teams, they hope well into the playoffs. Metamora will be in the playoffs. They have earned themselves a 5th win, ensuring that they will be in the postseason mix. But that's where we'll leave it for tonight. Final score, Metamora 37, Pekin 13. For our entire Clutch Sports Media crew making this possible, Dalton Carmine, our producer, Sydney Barnes directing this ball game, Magnus Roeder and Patrice Kusik on camera. For my broadcast partner, Michael Goff, it's Gavin Russell saying so long, and we'll see you next week for more high school football action on CSM.